Breaking news: Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan have irreconcilable differences. Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan, two people who have collaborated on a famous film project, received great attention from the media. When the film was announced, fans praised the combination of the two actors, Jamie with his masculinity, depth in acting, Dakota with his gentleness, mystery, and inner strength. They were considered a promising screen couple. Initially, their relationship was just that of colleagues, meeting at the script reading, discussing the characters, giving each other feedback, waiting for the first filming. Close, friendly, just like any other professional relationship. But then, the differences began to appear, not because of a third party, but because of expectations, because of the way of working, because of the artistic ego. Jamie is a perfectionist. He wants every scene to be perfect, wants the lighting to be just right, wants the supporting actors to give timely feedback, wants the director to understand him. If there was a scene he felt was not good, he wanted to reshoot it, edit it, even change the camera angle. Dakota, meanwhile, had a more flexible way of working. She liked to be free, to let her emotions lead her, and did not want to be tied down too much by a rigid schedule or by arbitrary edits. She believed in authenticity, in natural moments of acting, even when there were small mistakes. Sometimes, according to her, those mistakes brought life. At first, Jamie ignored it. It's just a different way of working, he thought. They tried to talk things out, to find common ground. But the pressure was mounting, promoting the film, the interview schedule, the press, the public attention. Every comment, every interview was dissected. People asked, did Dakota distract Jamie? Did Jamie push Dakota too hard to get the scene perfect? They kept quiet, trying to stay professional. Conflict escalates. One day, during the filming of a crucial scene, the climax, where Jamie and Dakota's characters must show pain, intense tension, the director asked for the scene to be repeated 3 times. Jamie wanted to do it again because Dakota's eyes weren't what he had envisioned. Dakota felt tired, feeling that the repetition was taking away from the naturalness of the performance. When the lights were high, the camera wasn't ready, Dakota wasn't ready, Jamie shouted backstage. We can't do it half-heartedly. You need to understand, if your eyes aren't right, what the audience feels will be lost. Dakota was silent for a moment, then answered softly, her voice a little tired, and I need the director, the camera woman, all the people behind the camera, to understand that I'm a human being, not a camera, not an image. I want it to feel real, not a shadow of a staged perfection. Time and time again, the tension between them rose. Jamie thought Dakota was undisciplined, Dakota thought Jamie was too strict, not respecting other people's feelings. Assistants, extras, lighting staff began to feel the cold air between them. During breaks in filming, Dakota often retreated to a corner, listening to music, avoiding technical conversations. Jamie hugged the camera, analyzing each scene on the screen, looking for mistakes to fix. There were times when Dakota cried secretly in the trailer, because of the suffocating pressure, because she felt judged, edited too much, because she lost the joy of acting. Jamie went home, lay on the bed, wondering if she had gone too far, if she was too selfish in wanting everything to be beautiful her way, but then said to herself, if I don't do that, who can guarantee that the movie is good? The unchangeable. One evening, after a longer than expected day of filming, Jamie and Dakota were asked to act out a crucial scene in the rain. In the film, rain is a symbol of heartbreak and pain, but in real life it was actually pouring, cold, the camera was wet, the lighting couldn't be steady. Dakota reported that she couldn't concentrate, because the cold rain made her shiver, because the wind drowned out the mic, because she felt like she was being forced into a scene. Jamie tugged at her arm, saying, "You can do it, Dakota. I know you can, just try. Don't let the inconvenience outside ruin the feeling inside." Dakota was startled by Jamie's tone, not angry, but fierce, forceful. She pulled her hand back, I'm not a camera. I'm not an actor just for others to look at and say, good scene, good acting. I want to be respected, to be understood, to do what I feel is right for the character, right for the feeling. But Jamie was exhausted, physically and mentally, from the project, from the pressure to be perfect, from the producer's expectations, from himself. He replied, I'm not pushing you because I want to control you. I'm pushing you because I want this movie to make sense. I'm pushing you because each scene is a piece of a puzzle, and if one piece is wrong, the whole thing can fall apart. The atmosphere became tense. The scene was stopped. Dakota turned away and walked away, leaving Jamie standing there, cold and wet as if he'd been caught in a downpour, but burning with anger and frustration inside. After that day, Dakota refused to repeat the scene. She said she felt unheard, unappreciated, that repeating, only the over-editing made her lose herself, lose faith in the character. Jamie, meanwhile, felt betrayed, not by Dakota, but by the work she wasn't willing to help overcome, by the lack of visibility, he said, in the big picture. The director, the producer, the crew, all were swept into the background. The film took off, the budget ballooned, the promotion schedule was affected. The media began to speculate, was Dakota the reason the project was taken off the air? Is Jamie too controlling? Can their relationship work? No more common. After that incident, things were almost falling apart. Dakota left the set early, she took a leave of absence, went home, away from the cameras, away from the press. Jamie tried calling, texting. Dakota responded through a rep, she needs time, and then went silent. Jamie felt empty, but he also felt angry, for the film, for being forced to choose between other people's feelings and his own artistic vision. He had sleepless nights, wondering if he was wrong to want so much, to be inflexible, to be soft. But then he said to himself, if everyone is soft, who will retain their artistic quality? Who will retain that sense of authenticity? Dakota, in her time off, retreated, journaling, doing yoga, listening to classical music, seeing friends, finding small roles to play to keep her acting breath, but no big commitments. She began to understand, there were projects, people, ambitions that she did not want to lose herself to. She remembered the first time she received the script, the feeling of the character in her chest, the feeling when another actor asked her a difficult question, she was willing to try, guided by emotion. Now, she wanted to try it again, but in her own way, not the way she was forced to. Jamie was back on set, trying to finish the film without Dakota as before. He worked, managed the scenes without her, used lighting, set design to fill the gap, but felt lost. He realized that, although he could continue, the film would be finished, something between him and Dakota was broken, not fixable by half-hearted apologies, not by a compromise that was just meant to be soothing. The departure, Dakota finally made her decision, she withdrew from the project altogether. There were indemnification clauses in the contract, liability, but she decided she couldn't continue, because if she continued in this state, she would not only harm herself but also the work, tarnish what made her love acting. Jamie, hearing this decision, felt a mixture of regret and stress. He was angry that the process was being affected, that Dakota was absent from important scenes, that the image of the film might be distorted from the original vision. He was also lonely, that he had lost a partner, someone who had once trusted each other. Dakota left the set on a cold morning. She carried a light suitcase, walking in the dim light of dawn. She looked back at the set from the car, saw the machinery, the scaffolding, the distant voices, and felt a sense of relief. Not because she had won, but because she had chosen herself, chosen her emotions, chosen the values she believed in. Aftermath and life after the conflict. After Dakota left, the film continued, Jamie continued to work until the last scene. The film was released after months of delays. There were scenes without Dakota that were edited, sometimes replaced with effects, sometimes re-recorded with a stunt double, sometimes rewritten slightly differently. Some critics said the film lacked soul. They said the acting lacked cohesion. The audience felt something was missing even though the overall look was beautiful. In the media, the story of the Dakota-Jamie conflict spread. People took it as a topic of discussion. Many analyses about the personality of the artist, about the pressure of perfection, about when creativity becomes toxic if the actor is not respected. Dakota was praised by some for having the courage to say, "Can't continue." Jamie was understood by many, but also criticized by others for being too harsh, for putting art above human emotions. Dakota lived the following months more slowly. She chose small, independent projects, roles to experiment with, to act without pressure. She spent time with friends, family, focused on places where she felt heard, understood. One time she sat in a small tea shop, closed her eyes and listened to the piano, felt the wind through the window, remembered the day she was off camera, not with regret, but with serenity. Jamie continued, making new films, interviews, events. In the next role, he tried to bring more emotion into it, tried to be gentler with his colleagues, but he still kept his perfectionist perspective. He slept less, thought about how he worked, how he communicated. There were nights when he looked at the screen, reviewed the footage, and felt something was missing, not just Dakota's presence, but the feeling of connection, the liveliness of real interaction.